Hi, Anita and Ryan here, my personal best coaching. And so in this introductory video, I just really want to talk a little bit about coaching, what it is and what it isn't, because coaching is a term that's used by a lot of people and in many cases erroneously. And so I just want to make some distinctions for you and then go into the true power of coaching, why it's such a powerful process in its pure form. But make some distinctions for you before that, because if you have a big goal or you have a big dream and you're looking for a process that's going to enable you to close that gap, so to speak, from where you are now to where you really want to be, then it's really important to understand these distinctions so that you can make informed choices about the sort of input that you might want to engage in. So please sit back and relax for a few moments whilst I just go through this. This isn't scripted, so I'm just chatting with you about it. And I'm not going to chuck loads of slides at you, but I do just want to put one up in a moment. And so let me introduce the sort of four key types of input and where they kind of get muddled up a bit, and let's sort of separate them out. The common processes that people engage with when they're looking to achieve a big goal, a big dream, is either training, coaching, mentoring, or consulting, or maybe a variety of one or more of those. And so I just really want to separate them out, because coaching in particular gets used very loosely, and it's really important to understand its definition in its pure form so that you can then understand its true power. So let me just bring up this slide and just whiz round these to look at those four disciplines, because let's start with training. First of all, the thing to understand about training is that it's knowledge based. It's all about equipping you with a theoretical understanding of a particular piece of knowledge, and so by its nature it's instructional, okay, but it's to do with the theoretical basis of any action that you might take. Whereas coaching, on the other hand, is very skills based, and by its nature, when it's done properly and in its purest form, it's empowering and it's facilitative, and it's all about applying the skills aspect to that knowledge base, and in such a way that you really build the inner muscles, so to speak. And then if we look at mentoring is very much based on a person's experience, what's gone before, and them sharing from their experience as a mentor to guide you. But the key words there are experiential and guidance based. And then there's consulting, which is very much based on looking at trends, particularly in terms of marketing and business acumen, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and it tends to be very advisory, and so it's more directional, more specifically to give you direction and advice. And you know what's important is to feel the difference between those four things. One where you're being instructed, one where you're being equipped with knowledge, okay, one where you're being guided based on the experience of your mentor who's gone on before you in a particular area. The feel of when you're being advised in order to give you specific direction, and the feeling of being empowered and facilitated, if you like. In other words, creating an environment where you can actually work out your own solutions. Now, the thing is that there's no right or wrong about each of those things, but let me just spotlight coaching for a moment and why it gets confused with the others. Because I've come across people who are very good at what they do in business, for example, and based on that, they refer to themselves as coaches when it comes to people under them, so to speak, that they are helping to become successful in similar fashion. And that is not altogether correct. It's slightly erroneous, and I'm going to pull up an analogy in a minute that will just pull these threads together. The same thing with training. You know, I have trainers that I've come across who call themselves coaches. And as you can see from this sort of quadrant, they are distinctive skill sets. And again, mentoring, I've heard mentors who call themselves coaches. Now, I've been both a trainer, a coach, a mentor, and a consultant in my field of expertise. But they are four distinctive types of input, as you can see from this diagram. And just to give you an analogy, to underline the most common mistake, I'll take it from the sports pitch, because you know, you get in football, for example, in the Premiership, people who used to be players who have now become managers or coaches of a football team, and now you have to have the coaching qualification. But many years ago you didn't necessarily have to have that, and you had former players becoming coaches by virtue of the fact that they were good players. They had no coaching track record, but they were great players. And you know, we all know that just because you're a good player doesn't mean that you're going to be a good coach. And the reason for that is because they are distinctive skill sets. You can be really good at applying knowledge, you know, the technical aspects, and you can be very skilled in football as a player. But coaching is an entirely different distinctive skill set, because it's all about tapping into a person's potential and really causing that potential to unfold. And it is far more facilitative and empowering. It's not a telling you what to do. And what coaching uses a lot in order to facilitate that kind of growth is the use of questions, different types of questions, to create different points of reflection from which you can look at your own personal growth, or look at a particular situation if it's a situation that we're talking about. And the role of the coach in that pure form is that they're asking incisive questions, they're asking clarification questions, evaluative questions, explorative questions, to get you to look at something from as many different angles as possible, and help you to develop the skill of accurate reflection. And also from that place of reflecting from many different points of view, to come up with more possibilities and more solutions for the thing that you are seeking solutions on. So that's how the coach is very facilitating rather than being very hands-on. And when you think about it logically, you can only develop skills if you're allowed to practice those skills, if you really flex those inner muscles. If somebody's telling you what to do all the time, or suggesting, or you know, sharing their experience with a view to guiding you, that's not the same as allowing you to do your own thinking and coming up with your own solutions. So coaching in its very pure form, where by and large you're using the skill of different types of questions, and then creating an environment, that space if you like, for the person that you're coaching to reflect, and if necessary to really wrestle with those questions, because that's how they start to strengthen the muscle of accurate reflection, and also the growth necessary to you know, develop the solutions that they're looking for. So having gone through all those four, and having underlined why coaching is misused as a term a lot, let me now add in to that mix and say that none of those four things are right or wrong when it comes to input, but it's important that you understand how they distinguish from each other, so that when it comes to your own goals, when it comes to your own dreams, you may want mentoring, you may want coaching, you may want teaching or training, or you may want consulting, or you may want to have a mix of one or more of those things. The difference being that you're making that decision based on understanding what the distinctions are, and understanding and becoming clear about what you feel your needs are. By far the most powerful of all those is coaching, because that's where you really develop the skill and become a skilled navigator in terms of your own life and your dreams. But that isn't to say that the other three are not powerful in their own right. They can really complement and help. One of the things that I do quite a bit of, I mean, you know, if you had to pair these skill sets, training and coaching are a very powerful combination, and mentoring and consulting are very powerful combinations as a pair. And coming on to training and coaching, the reason why I flit in and out of both and use them in combination is because what I've found in a lot of work I've done with clients where personal growth is concerned is I've found a lot of people don't necessarily have the underpinning knowledge base that would make the application of skill that much more powerful. And you need to have an underlying knowledge base in order to develop skill effectively and properly. So invariably I find myself going back, equipping people with the knowledge, and then developing the skill in a coaching format off that. And so it's helped me to be flexible in that respect, so that, you know, coaching can be done justice, and also the person can have the right sort of input to do themselves justice in that process as well. Now, I've also done a mix of all four, but the key from your point of view is decide with respect to your goals and dreams. What is it you feel you need right now at this point in time, or maybe not now, but at a future point, a near point? What are the skill sets or the types of inputs that you think that as a result of having are going to help you create acceleration and momentum in terms of your own personal growth, and in terms of the situation that you're trying to close the gap on, achieving that big goal, achieving that big dream? Get clear on that, and then really engage one or more of those processes accordingly if you feel they're going to have a powerful impact for you. And, you know, finally, to wrap up, whatever you do decide to do, what I would say to you is make sure that you surround yourself with those people, with those skills, with the type of knowledge, and particularly the people that are going to support you where your goals and dreams are concerned, so that you can bring the best out of yourself, they can bring the best out of you, and you can bring the best out of your life in terms of what you want to achieve, but also what you want to contribute to the world. So surround yourself with people and things that are going to enable you to be at your personal best and to expand beyond that. So on that note, I'll speak to you in another video. Bye for now.